it's Denise from LOOM and on this video I'm going to show you how to knit the seed stitch brim hat with a matching coil. I'm using bulky yarn and an extra large loom. We're going to start the project with a Uwrap cast on. Make a slip knot and put the slip knot on the anchor peg. Then you're going to wrap every peg. To complete the cast on, you're going to knit a row of the Uwrap knit stitch. Alright, let's start with the seed stitch brim. For row 1, we're going to knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. We're going to continue using the Uwrap knit stitch version throughout the brim. Now let's do a purl stitch. You're going to take your working yarn and put it under the loop, scoop it up with your hook, and you're going to create a new loop. Take the old loop off, put the new loop on, and pull your yarn. Repeat this pattern around the whole loom. The knit one, purl one pattern is actually called a single rib stitch. So you're actually learning a second stitch within a stitch. If your loom is an odd number loom, the last 2 pegs will have to be repeated. It's okay, it's not a biggie, you won't even notice it. Don't forget to remove the slip knot after a few rows. Okay, you've reached the anchor peg and that's row 1. Now we're ready to move to row 2, and this time you're going to flip the pattern. You're going to purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1. For row 24, we're going to now use the eWrap knit stitch. Wrap every peg. Knit off. Continue around the whole loom. This row that we're just doing of the eWrap knit stitch is going to help you avoid having little dots on your color change. We're ready to switch colors. Cut your working yarn and get your other color. You're going to make a slip knot and place that slip knot on the first peg that you're going to knit. Take those 2 ends and we're going to do a knot. Not a major knot, just a regular knot. For the top of the hat, we're going to knit rows 25 through 37 using the eWrap knit stitch. Again, wrap all your pegs. Knit off all the pegs. Continue until you have your 37 rows. Now let's close the hat using the gathered method. Wrap the working yarn around your loom. Cut the yarn. Get your hook and like doing a purl, you're going to scoop up that working yarn and feed it through. Your other option is to use a yarn needle. So thread your needle. From the bottom going up, feed the needle through each loop. Now using your hook, remove the loops from the pegs. Feed the needle through the hole and so that it's on the other side, and then just turn the hat inside out. Pull on the string to close the hole. Then with the needle, you're going to start sewing in a circle. So right at that very crown part, you'll see some loops. Feed the needle through so you're going around, and as you go around, pull on your working yarn. As you sew for the last time, go ahead and grab the back to create a loop, and you're going to use that to make a knot. You can see those little dots on this side of the hat. Turn the hat back out again so you can take a look at what you've done, and you'll notice that you can't really see where you did your change of color, and there are no little dots. Now you can make the decision as to whether you want to tighten the first row or whether you want to leave it like that. This is how it looks if you decide to go ahead and tighten those loops, and I'll show you how to do it when we do the coil. The flat drawstring cast off is actually a better alternative to this gathered method, but I wanted to keep things simple. Alright, let's weave in the ends. You can cut off the excess yarn on the top if you're not going to add a pom-pom, and then get your yarn needle, thread your needle, and then we're going to go ahead and feed that working yarn through the bumps on the inside of the hat so it's not noticeable. So you're starting with that very first one that you're going to take from the outside in, and then we're going to go upward with the working yarn. You see that you can't see anything, and once you've got it high enough, you need to bring it down at least once, kind of to counteract that you went upward. And then on the last one, you can, if you'd like, make a little knot and cut off the excess yarn, and with your crochet needle you're going to go ahead and finish feeding that last little bit in so that it looks nice on both the inside and the outside of your hat. Okay, so they both look just as nice. Take it to that very last little bit and then just feed it in, and it won't be noticeable. Repeat as necessary. You're done with your hat, and now you can make that awesome matching coil. For the coil, I'm using a large loom, which is one step down from the one I used for the hat. So the secret sauce is that the coil is almost exactly your brim. So you're going to do the same thing. You're going to cast on by wrapping all of your pegs and using the Uwrap as a cast on. Real simple. Looks familiar, doesn't it? We're doing a seed stitch, so knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit. So do you feel like you've already seen this? Alright, well, stay with me because there are some changes. Finish row 1 and we're off to row 2, so purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. Repeat the pattern until you have 36 rows. and then things change. We're going to do the modified bind off, which is worked over 2 pegs. You're going to knit peg 1. And you're going to knit peg 2. You're going to take your loop off of peg 2 and put it on peg 1, tighten, knit off, and move that loop from peg 1 over to peg 2. Now there you modified the basic bind off by knitting both 1 and 2. But here's your basic bind off. You're going to knit only peg 2 and then take the loop, move it over to peg 1. You tighten your working yarn and knit off, and take that loop from 1 and you're going to put it on 2. After 2 or 3 sets of the regular bind off, you're going to do the modified bind off and knit 1 and 2. And again, take the loop off of 2 and put it on peg number 1, tighten your yarn, knit off, and take that loop and move it from peg 1 to peg 2 and tighten, and then go back to the regular bind off where you knit off 2, move it to 1, tighten, knit off, move that loop from 1 to 2. When you're done, you're going to weave in the ends just like you did with the hat, so I'm not going to go too extensively into it. Just remember to weave the ends on the inside of the coil. Like the hat, the coil has one end that has loops that are looser than the other, and it makes it look bigger. So to fix that, we have to tighten our loose loops. You're going to look for the loop that is next to the working yarn, not the one with the working yarn, and pull it. When you pull the one next to it, it tightens that one up, and that's basically what happens as you go around. You pull on one loop, it tightens the one before it. And do this slowly. If it's your first time, don't rush through it because you can mess it up. It looks very simple, and it really is, especially with practice. Okay, when you get back to the front, your aim is to try to get that last bit of your yarn through that loop, and you'll see where it ends right here. Just pull on it. Then you're going to take your crochet hook, and just like before, you're going to weave in your ends. With the seed stitch, like any other loom knitting project, it's a good idea to pull on your stitches, and this is gonna kind of settle them in so that they look like seed stitches. The bonus with this particular stitch is that it looks the same on both sides. In the description, you'll find a link to the flower pattern. Well, I hope you guys like this project. Check out the website for more of them. And until next time, big hugs, Loomies.